I mean, we're helping one of your clients at the moment. It's one of your colleagues that said it to us, and they're a logistics business, and they actually had a payment plan. In fact, we negotiated it for them about 12 months ago, but circumstances have changed and things have contracted for them. And your guys have been doing a lot of work in helping them, but they're not they in terms of improving cash flow, and they've done an amazing job. But this was a payment plan that has some steps in it, and they weren't able to meet those steps. So we're going back in now and renegotiating that. And I think that's one of the things that businesses should understand is that even if you're in a payment plan, and whether it's been put in place by us or put in place by yourself or put in place by their accountant or even themselves, that you're not stuck with that. Even if it was the right thing at the right time, you can go back and renegotiate that. And if there are circumstances and it's put to the ATO in the right way, then they will listen and they will renegotiate in some more favourable terms. So the terms were favourable at the time, but now they're tough, and circumstances have changed. So I think that's a real reminder for people.
Yeah, I mean, that's where your deep expertise comes into play. But just back on that point regarding helping clients, I mean, we spend a lot of time interviewing prospective CFOs to join our team. And one of the criterion has to be a genuine desire to help businesses. Individuals who get a real kick out of making a difference to how business is performing and how a founder or CEO achieves their own personal objectives out of the business. And no doubt Tax Assure experiences the same thing. You would have clients who are, in some cases, desperate, and you help them address the issue and sleep at night.
Yeah, and I think that's right. And I think it's a really good point, Luke, because again, we've had a long engagement. I've met most of your CFOs nationally. Some I know better than others, but you're right. A core thing between all of them is probably two things. One is there is great expertise, and that's a given. That's kind of a ticket to ride now. But on top of that, there is, and it kind of links with us and what we do, there's a real empathy and a real desire to help people. And I think that's really, really important. And sometimes when I'm talking to some of your CFOs, it sounds like it's their business. And that's, I think, the ultimate, in terms of how you can show is somebody really giving you the level of service that you need, is are they that invested that they kind of almost forget that it's not their business?
Yeah, I agree. And also that the service needs to be very focused. Right, when we go into a new client, we have a framework, which is the 12 boxes of the roles of the CFO. And that's as much around focusing on where the client needs help, as well as confirming the areas they don't need help. So we're only focused on delivering value. And the beauty of this fractional arrangement is we provide the right skills at the right time and the right quantity. So it can be adjusted in agreement with the client at any point in time, turn the dial left or right, depending on the business requirements.
Yeah, brilliant. And it's interesting too, that whole, right amount, right people. Certainly the right time is a really important one for at the moment. And you would remember the days when people would say, hey, we're not hearing anything from the ATO, so it's all okay. Silence is gold. Well, silence is no longer gold with the ATO. And in fact, silence makes me very uncomfortable when people tell that to me, because what we have learnt is that the ATO is very sophisticated. It's got very sophisticated data matching. It monitors businesses very closely, and often the silence is the scary bit, because something heavy is about to land and they're about to get something out of the blue. I mean, we had a director came to us a couple of weeks ago, and he, very good accountant. They've been working really hard with the ATO. They've been negotiating with the ATO for over 6 months to get something. He had some personal debt in there, but he also had some director penalty debt from the company. And that company had long since gone, but the debt had remained with him. And they'd been negotiating in good faith with the ATO around all of this and thought they were close, but they just never quite got it there. And it's what I said earlier, you're either in a payment plan or you're not, you're either pregnant or you're not. And this man was not pregnant. But what he was exposed to the ATO. And the problem was that by the time they came to us, he'd received a statement of claim. Now, had we spoken to him before the statement of claim had arrived, we could have got him into a long-term payment plan, minimal payments, yada, yada, and everything. Yep. Unfortunately, once certain things happen, and a statement of claim is one of those, statutory demands or other ones, the parameters of what the ATO can and cannot do narrow significantly. And in that situation, a long-term payment plan was off the table, and we then needed to be able to say, look, we need an upfront payment, which we don't often give, and we need much shorter payments. fortunately for him, he had access to funds and was able to do that. But I have had other clients where they just simply can't do that. And so it's a bit like with your business. The sooner we get in there, we can fix things. But unfortunately, sometimes people leave them till it's, can be too late, or the way the solution is maybe not as optimal as it might have been.
Yeah, it's a broad principle, right? The sooner is always better. The sooner you identify either an opportunity or a risk, the sooner you can take action, and the more likely you'll get optimum outcome.